loading snacks.
What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's? Your boy Gage is here with Jokes.
Yo.
You are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today we have three very interesting topics in our WHHW section. But first, Jokes will get our link up for you.
Yes,
so
sir.
You guys can go to loadingsnacks.com and follow us across everywhere there and stay up to date on what we're doing. As well as follow us on Patreon, which is, again, really the best way to support us. Gives you the opportunity to give us some dollars so that we can keep doing the things we are doing. If you like what you see, we appreciate the support. And on that note, it's time for the 619 Hall of Fame Jokes, if you would please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Indeed. Well, we do. Jokes?
Mm-hmm.
Shall we get on with it?
I think we should.
All right. It's time for what happened was, which of course is last week's news. Jokes?
Yes, sir.
If you would.
Number one.
Listen, I like it. It's just, it's not K.
It's not K. Listen, I'm right there with you.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Look, we talked a couple weeks ago about Crunchyroll getting rid of their free tier. Did we not?
We absolutely did.
We did. And when we talked about that, I'm positive that we said, oh, they're going to make some other changes, price hikes and some other things. And sure enough,
here we are.
Crunchyroll is increasing their prices. Technically, price hike is effective immediately for anyone who is new, any new subscriber. The price hike is in effect immediately. For anyone who is already a subscriber, the price hike will not affect you until March 4th, which isn't a lot of time.
It's not a big difference. Like
it's a month from now, right? But it makes me wonder what when Sony bought Crunchyroll had like 3 million paid subscribers, which isn't anything to really scoff at. I mean, it's not Netflix numbers, but they had like 190, 195, 197 free subscribers, right? Which meant, you know, not all the content on Crunchyroll is available if you're on the free tier or if you were on the free tier. And that meant that when you were enjoying the free tier, there were commercials or ads that, you know, ran during the shows. And for all intents and purposes, since Sony's acquisition of Funimation and Crunchyroll and the then removal of Funimation once they acquired Crunchyroll and really booting everybody's library, you know, which again was a big deal because Funimation had kind of marketed really hard that your stuff is yours and it's permanent. And Sony took that away from people. So now, with the kind of control that they have with Crunchyroll and the library that was Funimation, I mean, Sony has they got a lot of power. You know what I mean? As far as people really wanting anime and being able to get their hands on it. We're talking about an increase. If you're on the lower tier of, it's like 25%. You're going from $8 a month to $10 a month. The mega fan tier is going from $12 a month to $14 a month, and then the ultimate tier is going from $16 to $18 a month. I guarantee you, this only lasts about a year.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, what they're saying, Jokes, is that this is so that they can introduce a bunch of new things that should help people in their viewing experience. Can you even guess what those things might be?
One, I would say the biggest gripe a lot of people have had with Crunchyroll has been their interface. Um, I would say they've made some improvements, but
Okay.
it can be a little tedious at times. Like I give them props for like let's just I'm gonna use the I don't want to say the worst like that sounds like but let's just use One Piece as an example. Like
Okay.
obviously there's 1,200 episodes, and trying to go through episodes when you want to find the one you watch. Obviously, if you've started to watch it, it will pick back up wherever, just like any other streaming service would be
Okay.
at. But in trying to go through like all the episodes, some streaming platforms have made it a little bit easier where like you can like jump like every 10 episodes or things like that depending on what it's watching. Crunchyroll just pretty much just makes you go through every single episode on there. It's little small things.
So, like, if you're
Um.
watching episode 2
Mm-hmm.
and somebody's like, episode 8 is where it's at, you
Mm-hmm.
can't skip to episode 8?
Oh no, you can skip that. Like you can go if you're only going like episode 8, it's not a big deal. Obviously, you just go down a couple spaces, you're good. But say if for whatever stupid reason you're going from like it's in like the arcs, but say if the arc is 400 episodes long, which obviously One Piece has a few of those, you'll go from like episode 100, but if you finish or like you were on like episode 300, you're going to have to scroll all the way to get to said episode. You can't
It's
hit
not
like
broken. It's not like broken into seasons where you can just go
it's
and be
in
like,
seasons. I just use One Piece just because of how many episodes it is. I guess just for navigation pieces, I guess is what I'm saying. It's a
yeah,
little their system is a little wonky at times. I guess is probably the way to say it.
okay.
Um
They said
I
they're
was
gonna add the ability to skip the intro and skip the outro.
eh, okay. Not I from
I
I don't think
mean,
that's
I don't know, bro. I think that's relevant. I don't think that these price increases have anything to do with that.
no.
I don't, I, bro. Everybody has that. Like everybody else has
Mhm.
that. Now, everybody else is also pretty much more expensive. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But like, I would say that if you're watching a series, if you're binging it, it gets a little. You get to a place where you want to skip the intro a lot of times. I get it. Um, I think that there's something else going on here.
Mhm.
Um, I think that the monetary value in ads, I think that revenue is drying up.
Mhm.
I think so much of the market is now the advertising market is now in social media
Mhm.
that I don't know that there's enough happening in a place like Crunchyroll, even with 197 million, again, free on the free tier.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know that the ad revenue is. Sony says that Crunchyroll is profitable, which means that they were profitable in the old model. So whatever their data is telling them that they can make more money this way.
Mhm.
That people love and want this stuff enough that they'll just pay for it, right?
Valid.
Um, However, what alternatives do people have to Crunchyroll? Where else can people go?
For anime, like High Dive is out there,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously it's not as deep when it comes time for anime as Crunchyroll is. You'll see some exclusive ones that they have, and there's a few that will cross over between the two, but it's not a lot.
Right,
Um, Obviously Netflix and Hulu does have some anime that's in there. It's like I say, it's nowhere close to what Crunchyroll is.
right.
Outside of that, some of the uh anime production houses will have some of their episodes available to watch on YouTube. So,
Yeah,
and that's not like a sometimes it's not an all the time thing. They may say, "Hey, this movie's coming out in 2 months. Here's the whole first season of an episode or of a show to get you caught up or something like that.
Okay.
But outside of that, those are probably like your main places. And then, of course, if by chance you've accumulated some physical media, like, listen, anime still makes physical media, but it is expensive. So if you want to buy it and have it in your collection, it's cool. But for like one
Yeah, but
season
people are
of
buying albums again in like vinyl, and vinyl's expensive.
yeah, like one season of an anime like that only is like 13 episodes will cost you like $90 with like no hesitation.
If you want it, you want it. I mean, again, they also know that and are very aware that people do pay that. So like
100%.
But I think also people want to know for sure that they like something enough to make that kind of a purchase before they do it. So they're gonna want to see it first. And again, I just think that right now they kind of have a monopoly with just the sheer amount of ownership they have. But I also think, look, we talked about this Netflix acquisition of Warner Brothers and what that likely means for them having Warner Brothers IP, meaning that it's very unlikely that they are going to lock that all down to Netflix. There's more money to be made in them licensing that product out to other streaming services. And I think that that's exactly what Sony is intending to do. I think they are locking down the free tier of Crunchyroll and increasing the pricing, right? To make it enticing for people, but if you drive up interest and you can show that people are willing to pay for it, then you can take the IP that you have ownership or control over and you can make it look really good to anybody who wants to license it, and you can jack up the pricing for getting that licensing.
100%.
And so if Netflix wants to have access to the shows that right now only Sony and Crunchyroll have access to, they're going to pay. They're going to pay them. And look, so will Amazon, right? So will Disney. So you know what I mean? Like that, that's what I really think is happening. I don't think this is actually as much about the price hike and what it's costing you as a consumer or someone who was enjoying Crunchyroll at the free level as much. What I think is happening is the expectation is anybody who was watching Crunchyroll for free probably is partially doing so, not just because they couldn't find the stuff anywhere else, but because they already are paying for other streaming services.
Definitely.
And they're not ready or willing to pay an additional fee or a separate fee to get just anime. And that's part of the problem. The difference between something like Crunchyroll and something like Disney Plus, Peacock, Hulu, like Disney Plus, like all of these other places have multiple genres, all kinds of things you can watch, right? Movies and TV shows and, all of them mixed in. Animation, anime, like all kinds of things for you to watch. It's not just quote unquote one genre, even though there are multiple genres within anime. Truthfully, it's just one thing. And so, like, if you're going to spend your money, it really does make more sense for you to spend your money somewhere where you can get more kinds of things, right? Especially if you have a family and you want something like Disney and ESPN and Hulu, and you've got kids that you want them to be able to watch it and so forth. So the people who were on the free tier and may go away or say, I guess that's it. I guess I'm not. They'll be very excited to see that stuff that they wanted to watch pop up on Netflix, which they already have, pop up on Disney, which they already have. And Sony and Crunchyroll will be able to say, yeah, you guys can have it for the next year or 2 or 3. This is what it's going to cost you, and here's why. Here's how much people are paying us. Here's how much people are willing to pay, and they can drive that cost up to Netflix, and then Netflix can say, all right, well, we really want it. It's going to cost us more than we wanted to.
But we're
easier for us to go up another $1 to offset that cost than for you to and you pay us another $1 a month instead of you paying another $10 a month, to join Crunchyroll. I think that's really where we are. And I don't see that going away anytime soon with the kind of control and the IP that they have. That's what I think I'll see. let's move on.
Number 2.
My man. So Iron Lung. Are you familiar with Iron Lung? Did you hear about this?
I heard about it. I don't know. I didn't have the drive to see it, but maybe my
Okay.
interest has been piqued now.
Oh yeah. So Iron Lung, which is, if you know you, well, no, you not if you know YouTube at all. There's a gentleman named Markiplier who is a very, very, very well known and established YouTuber. He's one of the first really, really big YouTubers that made a lot of money in YouTube, making content, let's plays and stuff like that. A lot of gaming content. But Markiplier has been working in, even interning with folks like Corridor Digital, kind of learning the movie making business and, you know, the special effects and all that kind of stuff. And he put a movie together. He made a movie, financed it out of pocket with his own money. Came out over the weekend. It hit Friday and pulled in about $22 million, which, you know, it's not Zootopia money.
Right.
But considering it cost him about $3 million to make,
That sounds like a win to me.
you know, bringing in like 21, it's like 21.7, 21.8 million. That's like 7 times your budget. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty serious. And it really did outpace like the big thing, um probably for the most part over the weekend, was Send Help, which is Sam Raimi's new movie. And Friday, Iron Lung was number 1. Saturday and Sunday got a little iffy. Probably sat in the number 1, number 2 spot, but on a lot of charts, it got removed from the charts completely. Even though it technically shouldn't have been. And, you know, it started a whole lot of conspiracy theory stuff online with people about big Hollywood trying to keep, you know what I mean, like the indie folks from having a hit or making it look like they, you know, they could outdo them, you know, on a small budget or whatever. But Markiplier has a huge following, and a lot of people know who he is and just wanted to see what he did. You know what I mean? And I think whether people liked it or not is a whole other thing. Or how good they thought it was is a whole other thing. But they went out and supported because he had the fan base. And I think that is speaking volumes to Hollywood as a whole. It is speaking volumes to even actors and stuff like that who are doing their own things. If you look at like what Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are doing, and the deal that they made with Netflix, where like everybody who worked on the movie is getting paid based on, you know, how the movie does, you know, based on streams and so forth. You know, what Michael B. Jordan did with Sinners, with getting the rights back to that, and Hollywood being really upset about it. But like, you know, they're kind of in a position where they have to start doing these kinds of deals just because of the way things are changing, right? And the old guard is losing their shield. And so that's, you know, it's really interesting. It's really interesting to see. And to be honest, I am looking forward to seeing more of it. I don't honestly care about Iron Lung outside of that. Right? Like there is a part of me that's just like, I think it's cool that he wanted to do something like that and he had the money to do it and he went out and he did it and people went and supported it. Like I just think that's dope. And to be in a position to kind of go toe to toe, neck and neck with some of the most famous and biggest names that really Hollywood has to offer, I think is truly telling. I don't watch Markiplier. I know who he is.
Same.
I'm not a big fan of his stuff, but not because I don't like him or anything like that. It's just I
Never got
don't
into
watch
it.
Let's Plays. Like I don't watch. I play games. I don't watch other people play games. You know what I mean? So like that's not a thing for me. And it is also a thing I don't really understand completely. I do get it, but I would only really watch someone react to something I've already seen.
Mhm.
So like I can't like there are people who watch like people react to movies and things like that. I could watch somebody react to a movie, but only if I've already seen it.
Seeing it kind of.
It's kind of like sitting down with somebody and showing them the movie for the first time. You know what I mean? Which is a kind of a cool thing to do. Let's move on.
Number 3.
Yeah. Jokes. Stranger Things just won't go away. And here's the weird thing, bro. I kind of wanted to go away.
Oh, for real?
I'm not positive what it is. I kind of feel like it overstayed its welcome.
Okay.
I feel like the success of the original season, I think, completely warranted the second season. I liked what was happening and where it was going.
Mhm.
I do think that greenlighting the seasons after that took too long. Getting them filmed took too long, and the children grew up too much in that span of time. And the feeling of like 1985 it's not the same. It feels old and vintage, and it feels, I guess, 80s or going into the 90s or whatever, but I don't know. I just kind of stopped caring to some extent. I know a lot of people do. I know it's a big deal for a lot of people. I generally like all of the people who are in the show, but I don't know. I just felt like it overstayed as well. And then this happened. Let's watch this trailer. This teaser. It's in the main doc.
Got it in there?
They are doing an animated Stranger Things spinoff. Called Tales from 1985. It is set in the winter of 85, and it takes place between seasons 2 and 3.
Interesting.
It kind of has all of the favorite characters, because there were some new people that got introduced in season 2 that like needed to stay. Like they're kind of important. It's supposed to come out sometime this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's said to have a Saturday morning cartoon vibe. Let's take a look.
Like the sound of that?
See what we think. Yeah.
Hey.
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 Coach, I need a coach.
Anything happens to her, these woods hide a lot of mistakes.
Damn.
Right?
I walk along the city streets you used to walk along with me.
The big snowstorm is coming next week. That's when we'll start the campaign.
And every step I take reminds me of just how it used to be. There's always something there to remind me.
Something from the Upside Down must have survived last year.
Looks like it's mutating.
Oof.
I've kind of always had a crush on you, Steve.
I've always had a crush on you too, Nancy.
No, I mean Natalie. Natalie.
Ooh. You tried.
April. Going into the summer. What do you think, Jokes?
It could be cool. Like I honestly, I haven't watched Stranger Things for whatever reason.
Oh.
I didn't get into it and started. Now that it's out, at some point I feel like I will binge it, but I think it could be okay. I don't like you said, like if it feels like it's overstayed its welcome, maybe not. But if there's a group that may really enjoy that period of time with the characters and everything, then maybe it is warranted a little bit.
Nah, bro, like I totally want to watch this. I'm way more interested in this than the show itself. Yeah, like I like I'm not sure exactly what it is, but yeah, like this seems, I mean, hopefully it doesn't, I don't know how many episodes it's going to be or any of that. I don't know if they've released, I don't think they've released any of that information. But look, Stranger Things it's notable. I don't think there's any denying that. And I think that doing something like this, kind of introducing new creatures, yeah, I mean, I think it's smart. I think it makes sense. And if they were going to do something else, I think this is the right something else to do.
Dig it.
I don't think giving it another live action thing or having, I don't know. I think this is the right thing to do. So, I don't know, bro. We might have to do a spoiler boys. It might just be required watching.
You say I got to April, so that's enough time.
Yeah, April 23rd. Yeah, we got some time. Things will be a little calm around there. You know what I mean? Like WrestleMania will be over. We might be able to do that. All right. There's your top 3 stories from early this week and last week. We'll see if there's anything extra in the honorable mentions. But now we're gonna do something a little bit different. A couple of weeks ago, IGN put together a list of their top 100 Xbox games.
Ooh.
Now, we are going to look at and react to their top 5. And here's why. And truthfully, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. What's in the top 5 should tell us a lot about the rest of it, and like positions and back and forth and so forth. But like, truthfully, the top 5 is where it's at.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't. We could have done maybe top 10, but even with a top 10, I mean, it's not. It doesn't. The weighting is so different. Like the way it's weighted is so different, right? So I want to go through. This top 5. Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You've owned all the Xboxes, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Xbox system?
Probably going to be the 360. I think the 360 is where the majority, like, don't get me wrong, there was things about the OG Xbox that just set it and made it a staple. Listen, just being able to use your own music in the games that you play, like that was just top tier. But I think overall the 360 is probably the best out of, at least as of now, like I've had the most enjoyment out of as far as the games and things that have come out over time.
Well, I say we run this down.
Let's do it.
Number 5. Do you have a guess?
gotta be. You know what? I can't say that because I saw number 5, so I can't. I don't really.
Oh, so you know what it is?
I know what number 5 is. Yeah. So
okay. So number 5 is Halo 2.
Mm.
As far as Halos go, Halo 2 could be the best Halo.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the best Halo. Held back maybe only by the fact that it's an OG and Xbox game and not like 360 or newer.
Mm-hmm.
It might be held back by age alone. Are you? I mean, what's your history with Halo 2?
Oof, heavy playtime. I didn't do like the extra LAN parties, but me and my friends.
What you mean?
We did
What's an extra LAN party? What you mean?
Or just hooking up the console, like everyone had their own TV. We just played just the 4-player split screen when we were doing things on there.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't hook up and like have our own stuff on there, but a lot of time was spent in Halo 2. That was probably during that time. I would say that was probably coming up on the end of where we truly had to be in the same place to really start playing and enjoying things like that.
Well,
like,
it was like the beginning of not having to do that. Like,
yeah,
the the OG Xbox had high speed, had a high speed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it had an Ethernet port, and it was really like the beginning of Xbox, like Xbox Live, and playing online. Paying for it, but playing online was. I mean, Halo 2 was it. I don't know if you can take. I might be willing to say that just for that alone, like truly establishing online gaming as a thing for real for consoles, might be a reason why Halo 2 maybe should be higher than number 5.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just going on the merit of the game itself, the single player story campaign was incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool being the arbiter, but it wasn't the best. But that multiplayer, bro.
That's weird.
Let me tell you about Sunday nights at Best Buy after the store closed, multiple Xboxes in the mag room, running it down. Running it down.
That's one thing I miss. It's being able to hook our stuff up on like the best of the best in there and be
Bro, like we used to Halo 2. Like Linksys used to make these remote, like you need a crossover cable to be able to system link, systems together, daisy chain systems together. And Linksys made basically a remote system link where they look like walkie talkies that had Ethernet ports on them. So it was like 2 little boxes that look like a walkie talkie with an antenna on them. They had a button with a digital display that you could change the channels on it.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on the same channel. Put that, you hook one up to one Xbox and hook one up to the other Xbox, and basically it wirelessly sent that signal to each other as long as they were on the same channel. Bro, when I say 4 people upstairs in one room on it, playing against 4 people downstairs in another room, and yelling at each other through the floor, bro. Hey, Slim, you ain't telling me, bro. Like, we went in on some Halo 2, dog. Like, I mean, we use them joints for everything, but Halo 2 at 5. Does that feel right for you?
Halo 2 at 5. You know, it's in a good spot. It makes me wonder if there's at least 2 of the Halo titles in the top 5. I
What
don't
else?
I don't
What
think it
so
would be.
what would you think would be there? All right, we know Halo 2 is
If
5.
there was another Halo in there, it would probably be Reach. I feel like if
Mm.
another one was in there.
Okay.
I think Reach did a great job of expanding the story, and then the online multiplayer is where it went
Reach
down
had
at.
a great story. Like Reach
The
is yeah.
and I
Yeah, they
think
did
that would
that.
probably be one of the like I would put that
Destroying.
that's easily top 3 Halo games. Honestly, top 2 probably.
Reach?
Mm-hmm.
We'll save that discussion for a separate
I like that.
top
Put a
5.
pin in it.
Put a pin in that. All right, let's see what number 4 is. Number 4 is Gears of War 3.
Ooh.
Gears 3. I mean,
Probably, I think so. I think they made the necessary, like the franchise made the necessary improvements as they were going through. Like after 3, things got a little shaky at points in time.
you're right.
But
You're right.
I think
4 and
3.
5 were they look.
I actually liked 5. I
did
did
too.
like 5.
Yeah.
But
I was concerned about 5 because they introduced new characters. Like they,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, 3 might be peak. I don't have anything else to say about that. Let's move on.
Cool. Ooh.
Number 3 is Grand Theft Auto 5.
I mean, that joint has jumped console generations as can be continuously built upon. I guess you can't argue. Like, is it? Well, let me ask you this: is it specifically tying it to like the story, or are they saying it as a whole? Because I mean, I think the story is cool. I don't know if necessarily it's like a grade of all time. I feel
mean,
like Grand Theft Auto Online probably is.
For all intents and purposes, Grand Theft Auto Online is a separate thing from GTA 5.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of glancing through what it says in here, I would say, I mean, I don't see anything about online at all.
Online. So they did separate it.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say, with 5, doing essentially playing the role of 3 characters in the story, I think was clearly something different that GTA really hadn't done. Most of the time you pretty much were, just stagnant with your one player that you were playing through as the whole entire time. So I think that was a cool concept spin that they did on playing through the story, and then having, multiple endings because of depending on the decisions that you made with each one of those characters, was definitely something that was pretty cool. I don't know if I would put that in the top 5. I feel like GTA 5 maybe could fit in the top 10 somewhere. I don't know if that would be top 5.
I mean, look, GTA 5 continues 13 years later to like break top 10 sales and so forth. But really, it's continuing to sell that way because of GTA Online. Like, there's no two ways about it, right? Like, I'd say 90% of the people who own GTA 5 never finished it. They moved to online. it on a list that is the top 100 Xbox games. Clearly, they're talking about everything. Like they're talking third party. You know, like they have to be talking about everything. I mean, I could see under that circumstance, I could see GTA 5 being number one.
Really?
As opposed
just factoring in, like, are you talking like factoring in online into
the
story? Just the story, single player.
The story, the gameplay, what you can do in the game. Yes, being able to jump between all three protagonists, but like nobody does or has crafted open world anything truthfully like what exists in GTA 5. And like anything that's close to it now is just now. Like there's still nothing that like feels like a living world the way that feels like a living world, and you like can really go anywhere in the city and just take any car you want. And
I can agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like you can play the stock market in that game. Like it just like I don't know, bro. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 is easily in the running for greatest game of all time. Period. Like there's no two ways about it. So for it to be third on the list of the top Xbox games, as like for real, the only game that has lived and breathed for 3 console generations. I don't know, dog. It feels kind of like a cop out, almost being like, well, we can't have a third party game be the number one. I guarantee you, the first whatever's in first isn't third party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, Jokes. What's a better game than Grand Theft Auto 5? Like, look, I know that there are people who are like, well, I only play RPGs. Nah, dog. I only play Madden. Nah, people who only play Madden play Grand Theft.
Madden, Grand Theft, NBA,
and Call of Duty.
And Call of Duty. That's the 4. You get one of them every quarter.
You get one of them once a lifetime. Like you know what I mean? Once
we're gonna get GTA 6
years.
And dog, after we get GTA 6, they go, we ain't gonna see 7 probably until I don't even know.
Bro, by the time GTA 7 come out, my reflexes will be so shot. I don't think. I'm just keeping it a buck, bro. Yeah, let's look at number 2. Mass Effect 2.
Yes. I was hoping that was Mass Effect 2 for me would probably be my number 1. Like,
I can see that.
Just overall, like the decision making, and like obviously, if you didn't pick up Mass Effect, like I hope you played it on Xbox, because obviously you can continue the story and bring over your save and everything. If unfortunately you didn't get to it until when it came to PlayStation, you kind of were slightly behind the ball, but
nah, dog, you was behind the ball.
But just overall, the way that you were able to customize Shepard to really fit your type of playstyle, depending on the type of character you wanted, whether someone was an expert in weapons, a biotic, whatever version you pick. And then, of course, as you're making decisions going through this game, like a decision that you made in the beginning of the game may not come back to impact you until you got almost all the way to the end. And it's not something you can just go back and be like, oh, snap, let me turn the game off, boot it up, and change that. No, you had to live with whatever decision that you made. And knowing that if one of these characters that you were trying to either save, if they end up getting killed, like they were gone. And if you didn't make a certain amount of them and bring them with you to that final mission, the expansion and the DLC that they released for it over time was was actually meaningful, and it wasn't like, hey, here's just some extra gameplay that just so you guys go ahead and fat. It expanded the story that they kept going on there, and they made you invested in a lot of these characters. You know, as you had to do side missions to get like the complete loyalty for a lot of those characters to be to the captain. Listen, the achievement, and I have the picture somewhere in my phone when I had every single character up there with the little loyal emblem underneath of there, because it's like 12 of them. Like, that was a feeling like, yo, I'm going into this final mission and I got everybody loyal right now. It was.
You have a favorite character? You know that. Besides, like, did you have a squad? Like, did you have a favorite squad of 3? Shep and 2 others. Are you a Garrus stan?
I'm not a Garrus stan. I like Garrus. I wouldn't necessarily say that I was a stan. Now I'm trying to think. I definitely had Liara that I used. That was like one of those no. Actually, Liara and Tali, I think, were the 2 that I ran probably with the most. During some missions, it was like if you knew you needed a hard hitter, you needed Rex. Was that Rex? Yeah, that was Rex. That you needed in your squad.
Jack was my.
Ooh, hey, dog. After get dog.
Hey, Jack. Everything to me, dog.
Every one of those characters, you once you started getting like some of their backstory and learning why they were the way that they were, the things that they go through, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then at the same time, you know, as you're playing as Shepard, depending on the type of captain that you want to be, you know, you can make the Paragon decisions that you were like, you know, everything you did was good. Or if you were the type that was a renegade and you got those renegade points because it was just like, you ain't care. Like,
I ran both.
Said, hey,
I had to replay. I had to run both.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Mass Effect 2, I couldn't even tell you how many times I have completed that game. And like, I didn't start. So I started at Mass Effect 2. Originally, I did not play Mass Effect 1.
Until when? The trilogy came out?
No, I did eventually go back and play Mass Effect 1, but it was, in comparison to 2, it was very clunky and stuff. So it was kind of a little bit of, yeah, it was a little bit of a hard playthrough. And I'm trying to do some of the same controls and stuff. I was like, ooh. But I had to remember that because I wanted to go back and start a Shepard from ME1 and be able to move through each one of them, because there's a decision that you make in Mass Effect 1. Now, granted, I know we're talking about Mass Effect, that you made in Mass Effect 1 that didn't have repercussions until you got to Mass Effect 3. So the whole Mass Effect, you know, story as a whole is amazing. But 2 is the one that was just, it just stood out.
I mean, for it to be number 2 on the top 100 Xbox games, I do think of Mass Effect as an Xbox franchise. I just do. It was you know, the first one was an exclusive. So for real, it's like, where else
you know what? I just thought about it. I beat it on both consoles. Because when they released the trilogy, I bought the trilogy on the PlayStation. And I'm trying to remember. I think I just did it because I just wanted to play it again and start from scratch with the enhanced stuff that they did in the first one.
Yeah, because the trilogy was the first time you were able to play Mass Effect 1 on PlayStation.
And I think I did it because they did some enhancements to it that hadn't come out on the Xbox as of yet. They eventually released it on there. I don't remember specific. There was something about it, the reason why I bought it on the PlayStation and ended up playing it through the whole way on that side as well too. I don't remember exactly, but I've definitely beaten Mass Effect 2 on both Xbox and PlayStation multiple times.
Yeah, Mass Effect 2 is up there, bro. I mean, it's a solid one. I like Mass Effect. I don't know if it's better than Grand Theft, but I like Mass Effect a lot. Like, and just only because Mass Effect 2, to me, isn't a self-contained game. For me, Mass Effect 2 is the middle of the trilogy. It's like the middle of the telling of the story of all three. Where like Grand Theft Auto 5, even though it is the fifth quote unquote,
installment.
it isn't like the it's its own contained story for real. But man, I don't know, man. I kind of want to play Mass Effect right now. Let's see what number 1 is, man.
Dog, I'm trying to even think. Unless it's another Halo, I don't.
Halo 3.
I figured it was a Halo.
I don't know, dog.
I don't know. Now, Halo 3, when it came time for the multiplayer online aspect, I get why that would have some advantage. Because, like, the ending to 3 kind of left you in a weird spot where, like, we there was no indication we were going to get Halo 4 or anything like that. All I know is that last part of 3. I'm pretty sure I'm trying to make sure I'm not confusing 2 and 3. 3, the last part, you were in the Warthog driving on top of the ship or whatever it was. Or was that 2? I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember.
I feel like that's 2.
It's
been a very long time. So like, I want to save. I feel partial to some of the other games that I know I have played more recently, like even Mass Effect 2. Halo 3, though, it might be the greatest moment in Xbox history. In terms of like, bro, like I remember like the lines for people waiting at midnight to get Halo 3. Getting the special or ultimate edition that had the helmet.
Oh, you
like,
just dog. That was, matter of fact, it was 2007 because I was at Delaware State, and hey, listen, GameStop opened in the mall at 10 a.m. I had an 8 a.m. class, and then I didn't have class again until 12. So when I tell you I hauled over to the GameStop because I had pre-ordered it, came back.
Okay.
Hey, listen, my roommate was my best friend. So when he came back to the room, there's this Master Chief helmet just sitting on my desk. I didn't tell him I was getting special edition. He was like, "Can you put that on?" I was like, "Sadly, you can't." That was the only miss that I could put that helmet on. But the memories that created, that for me, as much as I wouldn't necessarily, I may not put it in number 1 slot. It's definitely like it's the memories that game created. I went very, and listen, online multiplayer for me, like I was in clans, and I mean, playing through, moving rank up through the clans to the point where, like, you know, hey, you're at this point now, you're going to have your own platoon, and you're going to have a squad that's underneath of you that you're going to get in. Like, Halo 3 was one of those that really, really got me into more than just that game element, I guess you could say, for it. The story was cool. It was cool. Not the greatest. It was cool. But the online was where I think.
Like, Halo 3 was a whole moment, bro. I kind of can't take. I don't know if Halo 3 is the greatest Xbox game. I don't know if I can give it that, but I can certainly say that in terms of like a moment, like owning it, like I'm reading here. It says Halo 3 doubled the weekly Xbox 360 sales and pulled in $170 million in one day, becoming the highest selling title in the US for all of 2007. I mean, that joint was like, let us usher Halo onto the 360. Let us give you Halo in HD for real. Like I
He
don't
give
know
us
if I
some.
like I don't know if I like it as number one. But you sound
Uh,
like you're beginning to believe, which was like their catchphrase.
it did give us. I'm trying to remember. I believe 3 gave us one of the cool looking consoles. I believe the third one
Sure.
they released a Master Chief like green color one. I think that was 3 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then the hard drive, I believe, on top was like the gold color, so it gave like the gold accents on there. Because I'm looking at the slim. I actually have the slim over here, but I know that's Halo. I'm pretty sure that's Halo 4. That crystal clear one that had like the blue. It looked like, I think it looked like it was supposed to be like Cortana, if I remember right. I think that was Halo 4. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 3.
There were like 4 Todd McFarlane 360 controllers
Mm-hmm.
where he did the Halo artwork on the controllers, and I got all of them joints. Like I had to have them joints. It was a moment, bro. Like, but the 360 was a moment, bro. Like it was like
360 as a whole, dog.
I don't know, dog. I don't know how I feel about this top 5.
I think there's some in there that probably could just be moved around. One could be moved around a little bit, but I do think there's some of them that are in there that do belong easily.
Without really thinking it through and going through like again the other 95 titles that are in here,
Mm-hmm.
like it's hard for me to not be like Castle Crashers, dog. That joint need to be. That's a top. Like again, if you're bringing in non-exclusive, third party titles, then like yeah, I mean you could kind of do some of anything, but is Halo 3 better than Grand Theft? They're very different.
Yeah, definitely. I like the fact
But they're in the same running. So like I don't know. I think it just depends on how you really lay out your criteria, right? Because if you're just talking pure sales or even what it did at the time, you got to kind of adjust for inflation. For 20 years ago, I mean, Halo 3 would be 20 years old next year. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if I like this, bro, but I dig it. It could not have been an easy list to do.
No.
It just couldn't have been an easy list to do. So I respect all the games that are in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of love for all the games that are in the top 5. So I'll hold it there. Let's get out of here. Honorable mentions. If you haven't, watch Wonder Man. Put your eyeballs on all 8 episodes of Wonder Man.
Watch them
and
all.
Then watch our Spoiler Boys. Because we have some ideas, some thoughts, and some theories about where they might be going with Wonder Man in the future and how it may affect the MCU and kind of what they're doing. Spoiler Boys is already live if you're, in Patreon, a paid member of our Patreon. But it'll go live for everybody else tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock. So, yeah, watch Wonder Man. Josie, you have honorable mentions? Anything that you just kind of want to bring in, happened over the last week or whatever you think, just kind of a quick blur. I'm going to take that
I
as
think, I think Wonder Man, honestly, in the last week has been the biggest thing. Check out, definitely go and check out Spoiler Boys. The only other thing I will throw out to you because it'll kind of lead into WWE had Royal Rumble this past weekend. Pretty much that's like their second biggest show of the year. Marcus and I will have a follow-up conversation. Apologize, guys. The finisher is going to be a little bit late this week. You're going to have it on Friday going around. But definitely some interesting things went down at Royal Rumble that kind of set some things up for Mania. And we're going to have a conversation about that. Rumble was okay. I will say the biggest piece of the conversation that we're going to have is the fact that, they did have it in Saudi Arabia, and they said that it had a sold-out crowd. Looks like a lot of people bought tickets and did not show up. Kind of interesting, but that's for a different topic.
Look, we have Blerdcon coming up in a few weeks. Our time changed. Our time and place for our panel for Friday changed. It was originally slated for like 4 p.m. It is now 8 p.m. Friday, and they changed the location. Where are we now, Jokes?
I'm actually pulling it up as we speak right now. It is going to be in the Richmond room at the Hilton Arlington on the main level, and that'll be Friday still 8 to 8:50.
Sounds wonderful. Pop in, show us some love, hang out with us, talk with us about being comfortable being a geek. We're gonna express some of our thoughts about how our geekdom affects our mental health. It's gonna be good. I will be at Big Lick Comic-Con in Roanoke this weekend. Saturday, a good portion of Sunday before I come back, because Sunday Super Bowl. I know I don't care about the game anymore.
Hey,
that halftime show.
Halftime shows and those commercials.
Yeah. Probably getting our first trailer for Doomsday. So, which here's the thing. I know we've been saying that, but now it's starting to feel a little premature. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we don't have a trailer for Brand New Day yet. And that feels like it makes more sense because that's coming out in like July.
Yeah. And the potential have both of those
out until December. You said we could get both?
No, I'm saying to have both of those, and it's kind of like Spider-Man's gonna be a little weird. Like I don't know. Something makes it him being in both of them, but if we get obviously the Spider-Man trailer, we don't get Doomsday, I won't be super mad. Like, because we know that it's coming regardless. But I'm ready for other surprises.
I mean, I might feel. Well, here's the thing: we haven't. The Russos said that what we've gotten so far have not been teasers for Doomsday; they have been stories. I think we might only get a teaser. We have not even gotten a teaser for the new Spider-Man movie. So we might be getting an actual teaser for Doomsday that will maybe give us some modicum of what the actual plot is going to be. But they also have to dance around that and be very careful what they do with that and what they say about it to keep from possibly ruining anything that's happening between now and then.
Right. They could just, honestly, the teaser, it could just be us seeing Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom, maybe just putting on a mask and Doomsday and out. Because obviously he's there. I don't know. I feel like it could just be something as simple as that.
We'll know. We know we'll have something to discuss next Tuesday. That's what I can tell you. Listen, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this evening. Didn't really see much going on with the chat. Maybe the chat was quiet or whatever.
Oh no, there's some people been chiming in a little bit here and there.
You ain't popping on the screen, bro. You ain't give me nothing.
We've been talking and doing.
Man, that's all. We always talking.
No, there hasn't been a lot, but just the couple chime-ins like.
Okay, Cuddy said the time the OG Xbox came out as a PS guy, Fable made me buy an Xbox. Interesting. Ellis 360. Only the strongest wills can own it. I mean, that's real. Ellis definitely was in there when we was running that Linksys joint. We was running Halo. Ellis used to come through the joint and be like, I can beat all y'all by myself. Doesn't that sound like Ellis? Yeah, bro. Man. Topspin, bro. I'm trying to tell you, dog. It was nothing like OG Xbox Topspin, bro. That joint was the greatest. It's trash now. It was the greatest at the time. We talked so much trash over tennis, dog. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Back then, dog. Fight night, bro.
Dog. Just get like you don't need to like out as much remake would be good. Just remaster it and just put it in the store. Like
ain't gonna happen. You can't, bro. You got people's likenesses in. You know what I mean? You have to relicense all that. Like you got to redo all that. You can't do it. That's why the Undisputed joint is like the next best thing, but it ain't Fight Night, bro. And I'm not even really talking about like the good Fight Nights. I'm talking about like Fight Night, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, like PS2.
Hey, listen, like, I miss you,
bruh.
Hey, dog, it's just something about
anything against each other though, dog. Ready to Rumble, dog. Ready to Rumble boxing, bro.
Oh,
Michael Jackson in that joint throwing hands, bro. Like,
dog,
yeah.
It was just something about Fight Night when you got your opponent down and everything just came down quiet, just wait for you to get in there and land that final punch and knock him out. Oh,
yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. What a wonderful time, bro.
Oh, just know, hold up. Zizo, hey, it's not on purpose.
Zayna said I'm upset with you for this joke. What's she upset about? So, man, that's right. Happy Black History Month. That's for sure. If you're paying attention to our Instagram, we've been posting our stories, and we'll continue to do it every day this month. Just Black creatives that we think are dope and that you should be following. Most of them are people that we know directly. Matter of fact, I jumped in last night. Greg and Marcus Tuskegee Airs were running a live, having a conversation while drawing out the new issue. And jumped in and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna see y'all at Blerdcon, right? Can't wait to see y'all."
100%.
Yeah. They were talking about DreamCon though, bro. They were selling it to me. I'm like, we might go to Texas, dog.
I'm gonna go to Texas.
We'll talk about that offline. We might have to go to Texas, dog. Listen, y'all. Thank you for hanging out, for tuning in, for being with us. We greatly appreciate it. Special shout out to the lurkers out there. Just hanging and no comments, just listening. To our lovely radio voices in the background while you clean and do dishes, throw laundry around. Whatever you're doing, watching NCIS on mute, whatever you're doing, you know what I'm saying? We appreciate you. We love y'all. Y'all all family. Jokes?
Yes, sir.
Tell the people what I need them to know.
Remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
With that, we're out. Toodles and lose.
Loading snacks.
Tighten it up. Get your wing up and down.